Uh, we finished Firewatch. We got one more thing I want to try out on this channel, and that is Firewatch audio tours, and maybe a bit of free roam as well. Maybe if we have time, we'll see how long these audio tours last for. First things first, let me put my channel into the chat box. Turn off my own voice so we don't get repeat. Go. Right, oh, I'm at notification off. Let's do this. Save over the existing save. Oh, no. Don't want to do new save. I hope audio tour, unless this is a new game. This might be a new game. I think this is a new game. Yeah, this is a new game. Okay. Can I skip this? Damn, I can't press menu. Damn, I'll skip through this and I can't hit main menu. There we go. It's a new game. Oh damn, I thought it would be an audio tour of it, of audio tours of the thingy. Oh, play the game with complete by the team. What is? Oh, play the game with commentary by the. Oh, by the team. Oh, it's by the team. Oh, okay, okay. Well, all right. Oh, so it is the full game again. It's just got rum. Oh, okay. We'll see what it is. Okay, so load. Well, we're done with this one, so we can delete that one. Oh, okay. It's an audio tour of the actual game itself. I see. Got myself another drink. Well, I don't hear the audio. Oh, look.
Hello there, welcome to the Firewatch audio tour. My name is Rich Summer. I voiced the character of Henry, the guy that you're currently controlling with those buttons there. And I'll be chatting with you in a little bit. Thanks for checking it out.
Oh, nice. This is cool. Oh, I like. Okay, so this is what it is. Oh, so it's the game again, but in an audio tour format. Oh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna. Oh, okay. Let's do this shit. All right. Maybe this is what I'm gonna do today. Maybe I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna cancel Tour and Explore and do it next week because I want to do this because this might be a bit fun. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I might do this one out. I might do some more. I might do some tour explore. But what we'll do, we might listen to this audio tour. This is cool. This is all new to me. I never really go into special features and all that lot. And I think the last time I did a special features, I played this game by myself called Concrete Genie. What was quite a good game. And they had this like thing where you can paint and stuff and use the VR mode and stuff. I've got a VR headset, so I think with my channel I might do some special features if they have it. So normally, like with games, they just have DLCs, but this is cool. Right, so it is the full game again. That's interesting. Well, we've already gone through this, so we're just gonna we'll pick the German Shepherd this time. It's the only thing is I might just do different choices just for this thing. I'm gonna rush through this bit because we already done this. We'll say 1 day for kids, don't worry, blah blah blah. 1 day, 1 day. No, copyright. Unless that's, actually no, Little Les Miserables copyrighted or protection. Who knows? I wonder what happens if you didn't pick up those audio file things.
Hi, I'm Sean Vanneman. I wrote the bulk of 100% of this game.
Hey, I'm Jake Rodkin. I did a lot of level design, UI design, and worked with everyone on the story for Firewatch.
The game has this weird structure that Chris and I talk about in another tape. This is the first thing I wrote, was this opening of the game that jumps between Henry's life and the trip out to the woods. And I used a little product called Twine to do that, which you can download and use. It's just a very simple choose your own adventure tool. The simplest way to program a video game that one can then share with friends and play.
I think we were worried that the team would sort of perceive Henry as a blank slate, as sort of a generic game player protagonist, and we wanted to make sure, or we wanted to get in everyone's mindset, you're playing as a specific guy with a specific life.
Yeah, there's a reason when you play video games that a lot of your protagonists have amnesia, because it's really difficult when you're driving a character around who knows things about their life, or his or her life, that you, who you ostensibly are that person, don't know. So, yeah, we kept trying to write an opening of the game that happened sort of like weeks into Henry's experience, and then quickly realized that it was like, well, why would he not be able to say X? Well, because his relationship with his wife is Y. So, but the player doesn't know that. Yeah. And this was the quickest way to get everybody on board, was to just take the thing that I wrote that answered the question, I think, for Jane and you at the beginning, which was like, who is Henry? And I would write these character profiles that were really bad. And then I went, what if I just let you play a thing? And then you can figure out who he is. And we held on to that until we had the idea to put into the game.
It means that when you're playing Firewatch and Henry and Delilah start talking about Henry's wife, you don't have to learn it through his dialogue, because you made the choices that brought him where he is today.
Oh. That's quite cool. Let me put that there. Do I have to, I can play the tape, so I have to remember to pick those up. Oh, that's quite cool. Again, I'm gonna run through this because we played the game already. We just gotta listen to the audio tapes. That's quite cool. It's like director's commentary. Like you watch a movie, and then you got director's commentary. So you could watch it through once, and you can watch it through the movie once, and then you can watch it again with director's commentary, and they say how they made this and how they made that. I've never watched director's commentary. Once I kind of watch a movie, I don't want to watch it again, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to go sit through this. I want to get on with my life. You know, I'm not that kind of a nerd. I mean, it's probably not nerdy. If you're into movies, you probably like to know how to do that. But yeah, last time we just got mad. This time I'm just gonna ignore her. A bit of a douche. make sure we pick up these tapes.
Hi, it's Jake again.
Hey, I'm Chris Remo.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Hi there. I was a game designer and the music composer on Firewatch.
Nice.
So you're hearing now the first piece of interactive music that went into Firewatch. The first piece of music that actually...
Responds to what you're doing in the game?
Exactly, yeah. So this is a piece of music that's divided into technically 6 parts. And what's happening is as you're playing through this introductory sequence, when you hit certain points in the narrative, it sends a signal to Wise, which is the name of the audio middleware we're using, and then when Wise gets that signal, it waits until the next sort of musically appropriate transition point, and then when it hits that, it smoothly transitions into the next section of music, and so it creates the effect that you're just listening to one big long piece of music that just happens to be timed very nicely
It just
to your
happens.
playthrough.
It just happens to get sadder and sadder at the exact rate that your life gets sadder and sadder.
Yeah, exactly. This was a challenging process, both because I had no idea what the music should sound like, and also because it was the first interactive piece of music in the game. So the technical sort of just how does this work was also a part of it. But as it turned out, this music was changed. I mean, Jake, you may remember this. This music changed relatively little over the course of development in comparison to a lot of.
I think it started off as maybe 3 pieces and it expanded out to 5 over development. But other than that, it's one of the first things dropped in, shipped. Get ready to hear about that a lot on this commentary.
I think they're talking about the music. I think I turned the music off because of with most copyrighted stuff. The only issue with 2 issues when it comes to YouTube in video games is issue number 1 is music. You can't play music, can't even sing music. Probably get away with humming, but even then that's risky. And 2 is monetizing. You can't. It's okay to share gameplay footage. Most game developers, I've googled this, don't mind. Some of them actually encourage and stealth, even though they are the rights holders. If they're not happy for you to post a YouTube video, they can give you on YouTube a demonetize, strike for copywriting. I just play it by ear with games. If YouTube tells me to take a video down, I will. I'm not going to mess with it. It's monetizing as well because you're making money. You know, you have to check with the game companies. YouTube itself has been a grey area when it comes to video games. No one's ever taken it to a legal issue yet, and at the moment, companies are kind of like you know, But I thank all game companies for making brilliant video games, and I thank YouTube for allowing me to do this as well. So, let's continue. I haven't got the music set on. I probably, by the sound of things, they have like done their own music, so it's not some singer. So it shouldn't be. It's like Minecraft's non-copyrighted. So that's why they're talking about the music and how it goes from being very depressed. I could, if they talk about. Just gonna pick random solutions. They don't really do anything to the game, I don't think. Maybe your interactions with Delilah a bit later. I'm just quickly fast checking these. Check out my actual game if you want to know what's happening. Check out my gameplay footage. I can't pause this. It's annoying. Hopefully they won't talk about too much about the music. But I think I might press pause and reactivate and just play it by ear. Here we go. settings. I turned the music right off, didn't I? I'm gonna put it on what? 30, have it as background noise. We'll see. Hopefully, it shouldn't be an issue since it sounds like the game developers has done their own music, so it'd be part of the game and the whole game experience. So it shouldn't be copyrighted. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Still, mind you, I think I'm gonna turn it down to like 10 maybe, or 15 might be good. It was a bit loud. Look at that. Like it's got piano keys in it. That's pretty cool. It's just if they're going to talk about more of the music, I might as well have the music on, so you can actually hear. But you can hear the piano, and they said that it gets quieter and quieter, or darker as his life gets more bad. Like Thrillsville, I turned the music off because it's 90s music and that would be copyright protected. Minecraft, it's their own, so it's kind of okay. Campo Center, that's the game company. Alright, so there's the tower itself. Here we go, audio. What I'm actually going to do, because of the audio, I don't want the music to be... Oh, we'll see if it does, but I don't think it shouldn't do.
I'm Nels Anderson, and I was a designer and gameplay programmer on Firewatch.
I am Jane Ng.
Yeah, the music's there in the background. I'm going to... Ooh, not that one, that's master sounds. Turn the music back off again because I don't want the music with I love a piece of music, but I don't want to. I want to listen to what these audio guys are saying. But
And I worked on the 3D environment art in Firewatch.
So you're likely standing at the base of your home away from home. Your home in the wilderness. For all intents and purposes, more or less, this is basically just a real straight up tower like they existed out in the woods, right?
Yeah, I think it is Portland. There's somebody in Portland who was very good about archiving a lot of blueprints about various type of fire lookouts of the state, and we got some, and that's how we started off building the lookout tower, just by looking through how they were actually built.
It's slightly taller than a real one, right?
We had to make quite a bit of adjustment because, for example, the stairway you see here, normally fire lookout stairways are not on the outside, but for more interesting gameplay and views for the player, we opted to change that. But ultimately we still wanted the tower to feel like a real tower, so we had to figure stuff like, hey, how does the plumbing actually work? How do they get water? Stuff like that. It actually is very important for a real tower.
And if you go look around the base of the tower, you will actually see a big old plastic cistern.
We are not a survival game of any sort, but it is important to make sure that all that stuff is actually thought out, so the space feels realistic.
Right. You don't want someone playing the game being like, wait a minute, there's no How does this guy drink? How is he not dead?
When I normally play video games, I'm always interested in stuff like, hey, where's the bathroom? So here we have the outhouse, and you can go anywhere. But stuff like water is very important. So in a real fire lookout situation, what they do is they will use like a cistern, and they will capture rainwater from the roof, and you will actually see that we actually have a little pipe down from the roof. And we even have what they call a first flush filter being there, which is actually what they use.
That's my favorite kind of filter, really.
Yeah, I had to look up what do they do, because like once you go, okay, you collect rainwater from the roof, it won't be all nasty, and then oh hey, somebody already figured that out on how to collect rainwater. What do you know?
We actually visited a number of different lookout towers as we were like researching the game, and it was always very satisfying to see elements of things we saw in the real world and make their way back into the game, and vice versa.
So we also made sure to have a tab here, like a little faucet, where you can actually get water from the cistern.
Yeah, if you click on it, it will play an animation of a hand gripping a knob, and water comes out for 2 seconds. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it's there.
I think for a while we actually were thinking, like, should we just let the player turn on the water? Or then what happens if the water just runs out? And then James had a very good idea of just going like, oh, just make one animation that you turn on the faucet and turn it off immediately, just so that you know, hey, there's water in here and you won't die. That's Henry.
For a, because this is actually the game itself still. They do talk about the stuff. Look, I think the faucet itself is here at the base. Yeah, and this is the collection where it collects rainwater in it. I think it filters out. Down by the outhouse, I noticed there was an audio description, so we'll go over there and listen to that. This is number 14, eh? Oh, it's not available yet. Okay. Oh, cool. So I'm betting as we play the game again, they will unlock as we go. But that is the base of the tower. Is that number? What number is that? That's number 4. Okay. Ooh. And this one's also not ready, so we have to like...
Hello, Two Forks Tower.
I wonder what happens if you don't pick up. I just want to know.
Two Forks Tower, this is Thoroughfare Tower. Come in. I know you're there. Your lights are on.
Oh, shit. Turn off light, turn off light, turn off light.
Hello, Two Forks, come back. Pick up your radio.
This is how I think I got last time. Do you think if I go... I think I have to pick up.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
That's a great idea. Go ahead.
Look, I just hiked for 2 days, so I don't really follow whatever it is you're doing right now.
You take a stab at what's wrong with me.
Fine, then can I Sleep? Forever?
Sure, buddy. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay, you're probably just rebelling against a mom who wishes you had given her grandkids, by the sound of your voice, at least 15 years ago. You come out here and it really grinds her gears and you love it. Can I sleep now?
Well, she also says I fuck immature men, but in my defense, who wouldn't want a 28-year-old with ambition and energy and some fire in his belly in bed?
Me. I'm going now.
Just a second. Now it's my turn.
Okay. Good night. Bye.
Let's see. I don't know anything about you, but 9 times out of 10, folks out here simply got dumped.
Huh. Is that it?
Close?
Good night.
Good night. Welcome to the job.
So that's Firewatch again. Day 1. So it's the whole game again, and then it's the audio stuff in between. What's interesting?
Good morning, Henry. Well, I guess good afternoon. You probably slept like a rock. Anyway, there's still a few hours of daylight to get some work in. I can see you at your desk, so call me when you're ready.
Oh, I have to pick up.
Hey. Sorry. Guess I slept in.
You got a relaxing, what, 14 hours of sleep? Whew.
Take
Yeah.
30.
Jesus. I guess it's what, 6?
6:45.
Whoops.
Don't worry about it. That hike puts everyone out of commission for a day or two. But now that you're up, let me quickly get you acquainted with the job. There's a thing in the middle of your room with a round map on it. Do you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
This is the Osborne Firefinder, invented in 1914 by W.B.
Osborne?
You use this to spot, you guessed it, What the fuck?
What is it?
Nothing. You use this to... Oh, fuck me!
Good God. Language, lady.
Out your west-facing window. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are those fucking fireworks? I need you to confirm. Do you see them?
Whoa. That's not legal, right?
No. You need to get down there right now and stop them. Fire danger is through the fucking roof.
Is that really my job?
Your job is whatever I say it is. Look, the closest ranger is like 2 days away. Go down there and set them straight.
I'm not really a disciplinarian type of guy.
Well, make them knock it off without smoking a joint with them, okay?
Sure. All right.
Good. Get going. You'll probably need a rope to get down the shale between you and the lake, if I remember right. There should be one in the supply box on the way. The code is 1234. It's actually that for all of them.
Secure.
Shut up.
Right, let's listen to this first.
Nels, it feels like you on the team did the most sort of digging about what the real job is like, what is in the actual space, and then checked us against reality when we kind of went off the reservation.
In general, I really like doing research. That's sort of a thing I've enjoyed on all the projects I've worked on. So for this, a bunch of folks on the team read this great book called Fire Season by Philip Connors, which is kind of like a memoir-ish thing from this dude who still is an active fire lookout even today. But I also just, I called up the Ministry of Forests and Natural Resources here in British Columbia and got redirected to like 3 increasingly small Ministry of Forest offices until someone just gave me literally the phone number of this cool old lady who had once been a fire lookout. So I just kind of chatted with her for like an hour and a half just about what doing the job was like. The reason why the game is not a simulation of being a fire lookout is because what everyone talks about is that the number one challenge with the job is that it is incredibly, impossibly boring.
Because you can't, like, read a book. You can't, like, be doing other things, right? Like,
Not really.
Yeah.
At the end of day 3, where Delilah mentions, it's like, Kenny's like, well, what do I do for the rest of the summer? She's like, you sit in that chair and you look out the window. That is actually what fire lookouts really do. So all the folks I talked to said, like, figuring out ways to combat boredom is the number one thing. The lady I talked to, she said she did a whole lot of needlepoint and cross stitch because you can do that without looking at your hands very much. Obviously, like, lookouts are also responsible for doing, you know, maintenance on their towers. But again, it's like not maintenance because some crazy Yahoo smashed up your tower. It's maintenance like, oh, the paint is kind of flaking off. Better paint it. Or these trees have grown too tall, so I need to chop them down. Not, I'm chopping down trees to form a weird log bridge.
The main takeaway from whenever we would talk to someone who had done this job is, why would you make a game about that? That is the most boring time of my entire life. So hopefully we showed them how.
It feels like people who do this job, like, fall into two camps, right? They're the people who think they can do it and can't hack it and bail after, like, a month or two. You know, people like Jack Kerouac, who tried to do this and wrote about it in Desolation Angels, and then he went crazy from a lack of cigarettes and then left. Or the people who kind of enjoy the solitude and then figure out ways to deal with it. But, you know, we do have, like, a lot of the window dressing for the stuff people use. Like, other folks I talk to, it's like, what do you do? Well, we read a lot of books, and we, like, trade the books between the different lookouts through rangers and stuff like that. So, of course, Firewatch has a crap ton of weird books in it. Stuff like that.
That's why I keep seeing books everywhere for my first playthrough. Right, fireworks. Luckily I know where I'm going, hopefully. I played this game through weeks on end. Let's have a look at the map. So, oh nice, so it shows you where all the things are on the map. And there's some more what can be unlocked. Introduction. Day 1. Oh, I missed one of the introductions. How did I miss an introduction? Maybe it was at that garage thing. Oh. We'll see. We'll see how we get on.
Chris again here.
Hey, and Jake, congratulations, player. You have completed the Teen Loop.
Oh man, that's true. This is the end of what was originally called teenloop.unity, a scene file in our game engine Unity, because we thought that was just going to be the file corresponding to the first
this piece of game that you've just played.
Yeah, this first big objective.
But then we kept building, so all of Firewatch is in fact saved inside of a file called teenloop.unity. So
Yep,
know that for
game.
the rest of your play experience, you are inside of the Teen Loop.
Yeah. This part of the game, you probably are right now if you're listening to these commentary notes basically in sequence. The music is either about to kick in or has just kicked in. It's dark. You're finding your tower has been broken into. This, I really strongly remember feeling when this went into the game and had the music, which was actually the first music implemented in the entire game. All this stuff together felt to me like the first real moment of assertive tension in the game, and it felt really crazy.
Yeah, because we had our environment system working for the first time, so the sky turned to nighttime, and our world logic allowed the tower to switch into its broken into state just when you were off in the world for the first time, and then when that music finally came in, we're like, oh, wow, okay, this is a world that's alive and can be tense and cinematic.
Yep.
And all of it happened without us ever having to cut the camera. I remember we were all very proud and stoked of that.
For sure.
That was like right before we first demoed the game, I think, at Penny Arcade Expo.
Yeah, because the end of day one was the end of the first demo.
Yeah.
Right before this, there's the moment with the creepy guy in the woods, and that was sort of a moment of tension. But that's also arguably maybe not, because it's immediately deflated by Delilah.
Right, but this
was like,
holy crap.
Okay, I remember feeling kind of nervous about it because it was like the game is declaring this is a tense moment, and if it falls flat, we have failed. We can't like make a joke to diffuse it. And I think it basically worked, and it was a real relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bah, 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 bah.
So, if anyone's watched my previous playthroughs, you know that when we meet these girls at the lake, they come back and they smash our window. So we haven't done it in order, but he was saying there's a loop. So I'm guessing we're at 2 Fox now. This is quite cool. That you go down this way to the lake and you go back up and you do the whole loop. That's what that's saying. But that's at the end of the loop. Did say number 14. I wasn't expecting it to. You know, I just know there was one there, so I thought, listen, I thought it might talk about the outhouse, but whatever. We'll try and do these in order as possible.
Hi there, it's Jake.
And Chris again.
Hey, so here we are in the cache box clearing, or at least I guess that's what we call it. There's a lot of cache boxes in Firewatch, but this was the first one that we placed into the game.
For a long time, this was the cache box.
It was the cache box, even though we knew we wanted to have more. This area was actually one of the first areas that we built out to any degree that looks like a piece of the world. It was a really good proving ground for us. Like when me and Nels Anderson were grayboxing the world at the very beginning, we tried a million different things, like maybe this was on the edge of a cliff, or maybe it was a secret that you had to find. And I think it was Sean who suggested that he really wanted it to feel like a warm, sort of enclosed space, like you've stumbled onto a little glen and you want to stay there for a while, which I think makes sense because we wanted people to actually stop and poke around and have it not feel like the woods.
This was an area with a lot of firsts. I remember this really ended up looking a lot like Ollie's concept art in a way I think that felt like an accomplishment when it all got built out. It was also the first audio I implemented in the entire game, I believe.
The Foley on the locks and the lid?
Right, exactly.
Oh, this was, man, this was also, the cache box was also our proving ground for detailed object interaction with Henry animating the lock. And also, there is an exit out if you back up and turn left. That was the first time I prototyped one-way drops and also any like sort of secret paths, because the way that you cross the canyon also showed up here, and I didn't tell anyone on the team about it for like months, and people only noticed it once they started playing the back half of the game, and it was very fulfilling for me.
Nice.
Cache box.
Cache box, land of firsts and secrets.
That's the state flag of cache boxes.
Right, move on. So I think the intro one, what says I've missed one, maybe was in that garage area, because there was one where it said hello, but maybe was tucked away. I did not see another one. I would have picked it up, but I was. The only time I think I've actually... Oh, Growth Jock. I think the only time I've ever watched director's commentary is in a video game. Where they've actually have done it is the Telltale game Batman, where they had like footage of them going around the table and talking and stuff. I wouldn't be able to show that because it's footage. This audio stuff is great. I always like audio. Like whenever I go to like, let's pause this for a second. Whenever I go to like a cathedral or a museum, because of me being a non-reader, I like an audio description because I can't read the plaques themselves. So having an audio guide is like amazing. I think like more games should have this. I think another game is my favorite game genre, Assassin's Creed, also has audio, where audio tours as well, where it talks about the history and stuff. But I think for like future games, I'm gonna look out for this stuff. Like, see if anyone does it. Grand Theft doesn't do anything whatsoever. They have the online and the story mode. Train Sim doesn't do it, but there is, I think, the developer of the game actually does have his own YouTube channel, and he does talk and stuff, and they do live streams and stuff. Matt, I think his name is. I don't know what his last name is. I think he's one of the developers of Train Sim. What else? What else do I play? Thrillsville again. That game doesn't have anything to it. Normally when you go into settings, it's just this audio stuff, or like in the main menu, it doesn't have special features. The game kind of tells you how to play, you know, with Thrillsville. Of course, it's an early game; they don't do stuff like that. And then Age of Empires the same. Stanley Parable was its own thing with loads of secrets. They did actually have the bit, if you go in one area, it did actually showed how they made the game. Portal 1 and Portal 2 didn't have anything whatsoever. A lot of games don't have special features of how they made it and stuff. So I'm going to kudos to the game developers who did this, because this is a really cool features, because this is like something what game developers don't have.
Jake.
Oh, hey, Sean.
You did a neat thing here in the game that I like a lot, which is when you make a dialogue choice with Delilah about what this dangerous hill should be called. It shows up on your map, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, when we were putting the map system together, well, actually, the map weirdly was one of the latest things, one of the final things to come into the game as a fully fleshed out piece. But an upside of that is we built the map using a lot of tools we already had. For instance, the system that checks which things you haven't talked about, which things you haven't found in the game. Use the same variable list as our speech system. So when I was putting this together, I realized, oh, not only can I put a mark down on the map when Henry finds it or talks about it, but I can totally look at the same tools we use for dialogue and figure out what the player said and put it on the map. And the end result felt really natural. I actually wish we'd gone a little deeper on it in the game, but I'm really happy with what's in there right now. Also, please name this shitty boss is going to get me killed, because that's objectively the best name for the hill.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah, you got to cram that in there, but it's still readable.
what the hell's wrong with you?
My rope snapped coming down the shale slide.
You didn't break anything, did you?
No, I think I'll make it.
Well, be careful for Christ's sake.
No, this one's not available.
I'm staring at the big outcropping down here, but I'm not quite sure where to look for our pyrotechnicians.
Maybe keep heading west toward the lake.
Ah. This is them actually building it. And then the colours they've been using as well by the things.
Hi, this is Ollie Moss, and I was the art director on Firewatch.
I'm Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Let's talk about this teen
Let's
party
talk about
zone.
Let's talk about the Teen Zone. So the Teen Zone is one of the first areas that we used as a sort of art test to see how we would go about building the rest of the game.
We knew from the pretty early on that, like, on day one, you will start from the tower, and you will have to head down to the lake, and somewhere in between, you will see some teens, and they're partying. And so we call this the teen zone because this is where all the teen stuff is.
Yeah, and it was important to us that the reveal that it was a group of teens was communicated through the level design. So the idea was that you just kind of like walk through some trees and burst out into this scene where a campfire was still burning.
And you had a pretty strong idea of what you wanted to look like.
Yeah, I just wanted to put some big angular rocks in there, which is basically the like my modus operandi for the entire game. But we wanted to have a big angular sort of rock, which became known as Pride Rock because it looked so much like the rock from The Lion King.
We did name that Pride Rock, didn't we? That rock does serve as a very strong landmark pretty early in the game, and it kind of does point the player in the right direction.
Exactly. Should we talk a little bit about our process for designing these areas?
So in the beginning, when we just have like no concept art, we will just mock it out with just gray, literally just gray boxes and a gray terrain. And then we will take screenshots and give it to Ollie to be like, please pretty this up, Ollie.
Oh, well, first of all, I'll do a terrible garbage sketch and pitch it to the team. And if people like the gist of it, then we'll go away and do a bit more of a detailed drawing, and then you would go.
Yeah, we'll add in some more shapes, and then we just keep going back and forth with paint overs from Ollie.
And then it's just a sort of tennis, really, just back and forth between the two of us until everyone's happy with what we have.
Yeah.
I want to know if you do nothing,
light another firework, and it won't be your stereo I wreck.
Oh, fuck you, psycho!
Yeah, fuck you!
You'll fucking pay for this. You can't just harass girls in the woods. Let's get out of here.
Hey, that go okay?
My name is Patrick Ewing. I worked on tools and gameplay programming.
The teens, Patrick.
Let's open some old wounds here.
This is like going back to like an old battleground and being like on these hallowed grounds.
Yeah, I
bad
died on
things
this hill.
happened. I died on this hill.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most complex interactions in the game, if not the most, right?
Yeah.
And it was in the game from the very first vertical slice we did, and then I think we kind of added to it as we played through it and saw like, oh, we should be able to throw the boombox in the lake, obviously, right? Okay, the teens need to react to the boombox being in the lake. Oh, but then they should also react to you putting it down.
What you should do if you're making a video game is build relatively ironclad, predictable AI and systems that react to inputs. But instead, we built a series of relatively flimsy state machines that were like, if this, but not when, and also if.
Right.
And we're able to create this scene as designed. And Patrick was sort of the shepherd of this scene. So whenever anything would break, if you were to throw the boombox and the teens were not to respond, or you leave with the boombox and they would talk about something else, it was Patrick's job to ferret into the state machine and figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and I'm happy with how it turned out. There are so many different ways that this scene can play out now, depending on what you choose to do. Do you throw the fireworks at them? Do you talk to them and then start messing up their stuff and throwing it in? And it ends up being pretty like believable. They feel like real characters. It's just such a crazy spaghetti code in the back end that I'm always terrified when I see someone play through it, that there's some interaction that we didn't think about.
Right now the player is interacting with the teens in a way that is completely not by the book. And
I mean, luckily we
beads
haven't...
of sweat are building on your brow.
Yeah, I think it's just a PTSD response at this point. We would see the bug reports if this was actually still breakable.
Yeah.
Did not know you can pick up the fireworks and them. I've done the radio on a previous playthrough before.
Finding a bunch of empty beer cans. They threw them all over hell.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, sure am.
People are just the worst, aren't they?
They're not great, no. Well, I put out their fire.
Man, I would have named that forest fire something good, too.
Hey, I can always restart it.
No. I think your first instinct was the right one.
I would like to know what will happen if you got the fireworks, though. I bet not many people have done that, pick up the fireworks and threw it. Anyway, I like the fact that this lake is massive and they're probably still behind that rock. What other games do I play? Yeah, Portal didn't have anything either. That game, most story games are pretty straightforward. Go here, go there, go there. But, you know, they don't ever explain anything. Like backstory or how they made the game. Well, what games have I done? GTA, Minecraft. Minecraft has always been a secret and stuff. They always add stuff to the game. There is no story element or whatsoever. I think some of this stuff you could probably find on YouTube, but I think once again I will say it's amazing that Campo Santo the team behind Firewatch who made this, you know, I would say they did a really good job. I do love this audio thing. Got the next game ready on Friday. Just gonna after I've done this, I'm gonna make some thumbnail for it. I feel like I could keep the game.
So, I have a bit of a confession to make.
What is it?
Look, I was drunk last night when I welcomed you to the job.
Yeah, well, you're not the first boss to be guilty of that.
I know, I know I can get a little pushy, you know, putting you on the spot about why you're out here and stuff.
And you thought it was a good idea to get into your love life, I guess you'd call it?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, you know, I'll try to make it up to you. Anyway, let me know when you get back to your lookout.
Hi everyone, this is Ben Burbank. I'm a programmer at Campo Santo, predominantly doing graphics work and performance stuff. And I'm here with Jane.
Hi, I'm back.
And we're going to talk a little bit about, in general, how the world sort of streams in. This is a big open world game. There are, like, what, tens of thousands of trees somewhere in there?
Yeah, and we have how many chunks of the world that we stream in and out?
There are 100 plus?
Yeah, I think over 120.
One of the big challenges with that was we have to remove parts of it when you're not looking at it, because video game consoles and computers don't like to draw things that aren't seen.
Especially not a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for that little graphics card to do to try and draw all those that big forest. So the canyon's one of the spots where we have like obvious occlusion where you can't see most of the world. So we unload like the tower hub. The tower that you see in the canyon is fake. It's a small fake version.
Yeah.
Which is a common trick.
Yeah, so it's like a very low cost version of what it would actually be there.
One of the biggest challenges for Jane and people building the levels was figuring out line of sight. So how far can you see? Like if you have a point where you can see entirely across the map, we had to be very careful about what is actually loaded and what's actually drawing.
Yeah, so even though the canyon is pretty much a straight corridor, we had to put in some kinks in there. So, you know, like right sort of in the middle, there's a little area where you have to go around a rock. This is so that we could make sure you won't be looking at the lake when we basically delete it out of the world.
Yeah. The game also, you know, it's sort of non-linear. Like there's a linear story going on, but there's the ability for the player to just go backwards. So we also had to keep in mind like reverse line of sight and things like that, which is a little different than a traditional action game or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little puzzle game almost to figure out when we stream in and out things. So hopefully you don't notice any of it, because if you do, that's actually us not doing a great job.
You probably will notice it though sometimes. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I can see my tower from far away.
Yeah, we experimented with hidden underground towers for a while, but we weren't really happy with the results.
Oh, the sarcasm's not gonna get old. Not at all.
Wait a minute, was that sarcasm?
Shut up.
Tell you what, me, whoa.
Hey, I heard some thunder.
Yeah, I've got eyes on a storm out to the north.
Well, that's bad, right? Because of the lightning?
It just means we'll be busy. Hurry home, and try not to get hit by lightning.
Yeah, I'm not sure I got a lot of choice in getting struck down.
Especially not with your electric personality.
Oh, I'm just gonna let her have that one.
So these cast boxes, I don't think I need to like look into them, because it's at the main cast box at the beginning. But it's good to update the map. Number 17 hasn't been done. Huh. I know I'm gonna go back. I can probably get it another time.
What's in this cave down here?
In Thunder Canyon?
Thunder Canyon?
Hey, I didn't name it. But in the cave, I don't know, rocks? NFS tells people not to go too far in there. It's pretty dangerous.
So
I say, fuck it. You're a grown man, you can go where you want.
great. Used to go caving with someone back in Colorado. She loved it. Might be great to explore it sometime this summer.
Well, that could be fun. Obviously, be very careful.
It doesn't seem that dangerous. Whoa, whoa! Oh, no!
Henry!
Seriously, it's completely fine in here.
God damn it.
Hello? This cave is gated off.
It's to stop spelunkers from dying without getting the keys from the Forest Service office first.
Makes sense.
Although, Debbie says she lost them like 3 years ago, so maybe its mysteries are locked away for good.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, but maybe you can find another one to get your caving kicks in.
Oh, this one's so close to home and convenient, though.
Aw, sorry, Hank.
Hi, I'm Jane. We're back.
And I'm Ollie.
Let's talk about this cave, Ollie.
Oh, let's not.
This cave really gave us all quite a bit of headache, actually. I was actually kind of having a mini panic attack because one of the hardest things to light in games actually is any area that's sort of half indoor and half outdoor, and this cave is a pain in the butt to light.
It is. Well, having we thought you'd be an old pro at this, having worked on a game called The Cave. But yeah, it caused a lot of problems in terms of the logic gating of the environment switches, because every time the time of day changes in the game, it then like sets that time of day.
Because there's no doorway really.
So the way the cave is lit, it actually just changes the time of day in the whole game. So like when you hit a trigger, if you could somehow magically transport yourself back outside the cave, you'd see like the sun spinning through the sky, the sky changing, and it was really hard to make that process invisible to the player and make it feel natural.
Not to mention that when you're inside the cave, everything also has to look really dark. And we use a method called image-based lighting throughout the game. And that basically means that all the objects, like all the trees and rocks, just look out to the sky to see what their lighting should be. And so in the cave, we actually had to do sort of like a fake sky for anything inside that is just pure black. So the lighting inside would be appropriately dark.
But still navigatable to a player without the
Exactly.
flashlight.
And so, and also to be able to have a smooth transition when you're going from the brightly lit outside to the really dark inside and coming back out again, and having all the appropriate logic for the time of day, like Ollie said, it was just a real pain in the butt.
I think that is the hardest thing with games, is things that are light and things that are dark, and snow, water, basically any particle effects are the hardest.
There's some guy out here.
Some guy? Wait, he's looking at you? Is he doing anything else?
I don't think so.
Henry, there's something someone should have told you about this area.
What is it?
It's outside.
Come on.
The whole thing. And people come and go as they please. It's madness.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
Look, bumping into someone in the middle of nowhere is part of the fun.
Betting once that happened, there was some dramatic music, but because we're doing these audio things.
I love the little details in Firewatch's branching dialogue. There are a lot of very subtle, hard to notice things that Sean put in while writing it that you really couldn't notice without multiple playthroughs, but they add up to this feeling that you're talking to real people who, just like real people, kind of echo back things you said earlier, who continue in jokes that have been established, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the subtlest that I don't think I even noticed till I was rewiring the game midway through is the spooky figure who you meet towards the end of day one.
Spooky figure. If the teens call you a creep, Henry calls the guy who's putting a flashlight in his face a creep.
Right.
And he goes, "There's some guy out here creeping," or he says something like, "He's a creep out here." She's like, "A creep, Henry?" He's like,
Right.
"Yeah, there's a guy who's spooking me out here. I don't like it." And I mean, I like doing stuff like that. I pay a lot of attention to the sort of infectiousness of language.
Yeah.
Especially in this office, someone will start using a turn of phrase that then I'll be at lunch with someone later, I'll be out with Jake or whatever, and then I'll hear the phrase
theory crafting
through them,
Yeah.
where it's like, like if somebody was saying, "Oh, there was a total creep outside at the bus stop," then it wouldn't be long, like 18 hours later, it would be totally conceivable to hear Jake be like, "Oh yeah, that guy's kind of a creep. I don't know if we should have him by or whatever."
Yep.
And I'd be like, "Man, okay, like that word is now like bubbling along the surface of our social network here."
Mm-hmm.
And people are like that. People are weird, sort of like passive, like non-participatory sponges sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just like putting that stuff in the writing. And you can do that in games in a way that you can't do that in other media. If you do that in like a book or something, it's so double underlined that it feels like you're making a big point as an author. But in a game, because it's player driven and it's passive, it just feels causal and the way the world
works. I think that thing is the audio kicked out. I've just noticed I can see the cash box and there's the K and then that's the exit. It's kind of cool. Also, whenever I get one of these tapes, the light goes out, so you know you already done it. What's a really cool feature. There is a thing with behind the scenes, how they made it. You kind of like, of course, like this talking goes over the dialogue talking. Also, they kind of explain stuff in the game, so spoilers are always there. So you have to play it game once through, or watch the movie, for example, because normally movies do this once through, and then you have to listen to the commentary. What kind of like, if you do the behind the scenes first, it kind of spoils it. It's probably why a lot of these game developers don't put in behind the scenes. One, it's extra work. They have to like post the game out, and then like, some of the stuff you could be done on YouTube, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I never really looked for these things. Like whenever I do like pause a game now, you always got save and load your particular game. Most modern games are self-saving. Like Thrillsville was released in 2009. I have to save, and if I don't save, I lose my save. And most of these games are automatic saving. Subtitles. Display subtitles for people who are deaf. I was thinking what the term was, but people who are impartial to hearing. I think I like it because again the words pop up and I can know what they're saying. With all the action and what happens, sometimes it's kind of good to know what the dialogue, because sometimes when there's a lot, like with games like Call of Duty, where there's a lot of loud shouting and machine gun fires and whatnot, you kind of like don't hear the instructions clearly. Inverted controls, if someone prefers that you're up and down, left and right is on the right stick and your camera's on the left stick. I don't use that. I think that's mainly for people who are like maybe who are left-handed or prefer that the camera option to any others. Hide information and mute. I think there's the mute the sound and stuff. But if I actually go into settings, you always got the audio and voice, and the other one's the controls and show you what is what. Main menu, they always have new game, load new game, the options menu, and then you got credits. Sometimes some games have credits. They have credits at the end to say who worked on it and blah blah blah, like what movies do. But a lot of these games never really have behind the scenes, and I think it'd be nice to. I think it's hard to interpolate that into a game. Or how do you show that? You know, do you do like a video and then show how they made it, or do you do all this and when you go around you talk to them? But like Firewatch is the only game that actually does something like this. I think I've not seen other games. Assassin's Creed has like audio tours where they talk about the history and stuff, not how they made the game, but the history in the game. I don't know. I think after today, I'm gonna go back and have a look at some games. Maybe see if anything I missed. You know, I don't think games do. You know, you just play the game and maybe go online and stuff and interact with your friends. I just need to go to the loo, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, like tour and explore. I've been doing it. I will probably do some today. I have chosen to do this today, but I want to get my normal scheduling done. I've been exploring the map and seeing if there's anything we missed or haven't seen where we're not busy rushing around. I kind of get a feel of how the game developers have been making this stuff, but they don't actually. Rockstar has not done something like this where they've explained, oh, we put this here, this there, and this is so cool. This is like, because a lot of movies do this, but no video games do this, you know. And so I think a little clap for Firewatch for making something what movies and TV shows like I've been watching on Disney Plus, Marvel TV shows like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki on Disney Plus. Other TV shows are available. They have this thing, the they have another one when every time they do the whole series, they have this other program. I think it's called Assemble, where how they assembled it, how they did it, and and Star Wars also does that. I think like the Mandalorian, they had this other one where the director's commentary, like video games don't have that. You have the game and the online apps, but they don't actually go into it of. I think there's some stuff maybe on YouTube. I've never gone into this, and they never really. I don't know. I think maybe on like. I don't know. I just never really gone into this type thing. Again, it's like, why would I play a game twice, or why would I watch a movie twice? It's a bit like, oh, I've seen it. I don't need to like. But I'm actually enjoying it, and I love listening to stuff like this, like going around to museums. But yeah, I think would be I think a little criticism is instead of like playing the game again, so you play the game again. That's all. Well, playing the game again, I think is the thing, because I feel like when you play the game once, that's all cool. You can always replay the game, but I think with this audio tours, I think they should just like have the audio tours and explain stuff. So explain how they made this and how they did this. I think because you can't really experience the game if you're doing these audio tours. So I think well done for doing this, Campo Santo and the team behind Firewatch. But as for I think they should be separate. Like you have the game, and then you have the audio tours. You can still explore the map. And maybe it should be like in free roam. Like that's another thing you could do. That the one of the options was also in special features was free roam. Maybe they have audio tours in free roam. So yeah. Anyway, let's continue. And there's the outhouse where you already picked up the thing. And the fact is, if you look on the map, there's other ones around here, and they don't actually, they don't actually unlock until you go through the game again. I still think that they should have done a free roam, and then they would just, you could just listen to how they made the game.
What can I do for you?
Well, my typewriter is on the ground outside of my tower.
You right?
Yeah, look, the wind? No. How the hell...
You should get inside.
Fuck me. Someone broke in.
Hey, what?
They wrecked the place. Threw my typewriter out the window. Motherfucker!
Holy shit. I'll let the Forest Service know what happened.
My fucking sheets are gone.
They stole your sheets? That's just mean.
Yeah, it sucks.
Okay, I put in a call.
That was fast.
Yeah, well, do you have any idea who could have done this?
Maybe that guy I saw in the canyon, but I don't know why the fuck he'd want to mess with my stuff.
Well, I'll have the rangers keep an eye out for a man hiking on his own and question him if they find him. I can't believe someone would do this. I worry about bears and fires, and that's about it. And now I've got to worry about some deranged hiker going after lookouts? Great. Okay, in the morning I'm gonna call my friend Patty, who works the desk down in Cody. They keep a list of everyone who's officially been in and out of the trailhead since, I don't know, forever, and see if we can get a list of names. We won't get much, but at least if anything else happens, we can refer to it and see if anything comes up.
Thanks.
I need you to feel safe out here.
Just point me to the Forest Service weapons cache and I'll feel safer than the Pope in his little car.
Yeah, someone made the choice years ago that leaving people with infinite amounts of alone time and a gun was kind of a bad idea.
Grenades?
I'll see what I can do.
You know, alone time. You know, get bored. Maybe not the best idea. Is probably the obvious reason, but I won't get into it. You guys can make up your own reason what people do with guns and why they're by themselves. I'm probably not going to get all of these audio stuff done today. We'll see how we get on.
Wake up! Hey, wake up!
I'm awake. What's your problem?
Our problem.
Sorry, our problem.
That storm knocked out the phone line I used to talk to the service, which means we're cut off. I tried radioing out, and that's not working either.
Can I go fix it?
Well, you probably can't, but what you can do is hike out to where the wire runs through your area and report back if it's down. Then I can track down a ranger to get someone on it.
Okay, I can do that. Where is it?
Remember that cave you hiked through yesterday?
Yeah, of course.
So you're gonna want to go back there, go through it, and keep going straight to the north when you come out.
Will do.
Thanks, Hank.
It's Henry.
What, you don't like Hank?
Yeah, I don't like Hank.
But thanks rhymes with Hank.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, all right.
So that's the circular done. Don't know how much more I want to do. Maybe I could do another hour. Then there is another cash box we missed out. Back down by the lake. I think I need to go this way anyway. That's the lake. In that case, I want to go this way. Also, maybe I might see some more cash boxes. Gonna go this way. The cable's by her. I've done a playthrough of this and I still get lost. That's amazing. Look, you can see where they said about they put rocks over so you can't see the lake. We've done number 12. No. So where my files says I haven't done number 3. I thought I'd done number 3.
Hey, it's Chris again.
And Sean.
Hey.
Hey.
So the conversation that you may be hearing or may be coming up soon has Delilah taking a call from another lookout. Unbeknownst to her, Henry can hear this all happening. And when she finishes that call, you as the player can choose to call her on it or not call her on it. And that was a very interesting piece of writing and design, I think.
Yeah, I really loved the idea we had here, and I love the way it is performed, but I feel like I especially would add something to it if I were to go back into the game and noodle around. This is a kind of a confusing call for people, and I'm sure if it was for you, you'll understand why, which is that people get really hung up on the fact that Delilah takes this mysterious call, and then it's never sort of like overtly explained that she's just doing her job. She's just literally just talking to someone else. And the lens through which you hear it is 100% is Henry's paranoia. But I feel like that could have been underscored here way more had I let you, the player, like find a nuanced middle ground and sort of pry at her about what that call was without freaking out. Mm-hmm. If you call her on it, Henry gets very, very defensive. And while I think that goes to illustrate the fact that Henry doesn't have a lot of capacity for nuance and middle ground because he's so damaged and bummed to be in the situation he's in, I feel like he kind of did players a disservice by not letting them feel out the relationship and a potential mystery early on.
I think that dated from an earlier revision of the game in which we were barreling towards more of a hard break between Henry and Delilah.
Yes.
And this was maybe just one thing that didn't quite get that last tweak.
Yeah. But I still like the scene,
Me too.
nevertheless.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually pretty damn cold out here.
Roger that. Warms up fast. Mornings are cold in Boulder, though, right?
Yeah, they are.
What did you get up to down there? I mean, what's life like?
I just spend a lot of time with Julia.
Oh, so you have someone there.
Well,
But you're taking a little break. Or...
we're...
Look, I'm sorry. Can you hold that thought?
Sure. Just gonna keep hiking and hoping it warms up.
Heyo. I don't think so. Why, have you? Okay, good. No, I don't think he has any idea. I'm absolutely sure. Would you? All right. I'll let you know if anything changes in that regard. Hey, sorry about that. Anyway, Julia, girlfriend? Ex? Sorry, I don't mean to pry.
Who was that?
Who is who?
I don't think he has any idea. What was that? Were you talking about me?
What?
You left your button pressed or something.
Henry, that call was work. I was just talking to... Actually, it's not really your business. Why are you freaking out?
I'm not freaking out.
Good. I'm gonna go quiet for a little bit. Call me if it's important.
Ooh, I upset Delilah. replaying this, also doing a live stream, you guys can see other options you have missed before. Number 10.
Hey, I found a structure that might have been an outhouse once, I think.
Whoa, you don't need my permission to go to the bathroom, but, you know, use abandoned shitters at your own peril.
I mean, I'm in the right area?
I do believe. The comms wire runs for quite a ways. Follow it all the way to the top of Beartooth Point, and if it's not damaged, you can loop around back home.
See, this same one is actually like this in my hut, so maybe it gets a new dialogue, maybe. Anyway, let's listen to the tape.
Hi, Ollie.
Hi, Sean.
It's nice that we're doing a tape together.
I know, is this the first one?
It's our first and only one.
Oh, shame.
I feel like we've done so much together not on tape. At least not recorded in a way that you know about.
Okay.
And here we are talking about Hawk's Rest.
Hawk's Rest.
You concepted this area.
Yeah, the idea was that it would seem from the outside a sort of innocuous little house on the edge of a cliff, much like your own lookout, but when you open the door you get the surprise that it's been burnt away and you just see a vista and sort of rush of wind as you open that door, and I thought that would be a really fun reveal to the player.
Yeah, and I sort of screwed it up when I first wrote this scene, because all of these sort of Hawk's Rest dialogue and all the stuff about Raccoon Carter was, as you were walking up the hill, you could report the cabin, which was a lookout tower, at the top of the hill, and then get into the story about its former inhabitant as you were approaching it, and then it sort of buried the moment in a way. So we took all that stuff out, and I hacked in very inelegantly, I think, that Delilah just doesn't answer you when you ask her about what the house at the top of the hill is, and then you get to experience it alone before getting the story about Raccoon Carter, and I'm really happy with the way that worked out. Also,
there's a secret.
But the raccoon that lives in the stove that you may or may not know about is only there on certain days because of a myriad of design reasons. But if you're here on any day that isn't day 2 and you open that stove, there's a little critter in there. And that was animated by James, textured by Ollie, drawn by Ollie. I really like that raccoon, Oliver.
Thanks, Sean.
You did a very nice job on that raccoon. Also, you did a very nice job on the rest of the game, and I'm only going to tell you that on the Hawk's Rest tape. I'm actually going to edit this out. I don't want anyone hearing me ever compliment you.
Fantastic.
In the record, but this is our only tape together. But yeah, I really love the way this area came together. It's lovely.
Oh, if you come to here any day apart from day 2, he says, so there's a raccoon. What is actually one of the trophies I need to get is get attacked by a raccoon. So I think we should return to this place. I think what we'll do is finish off day 2 and then head back to this place and see if I can get the raccoon. I wonder if, because I'm doing audio tours, I wonder if it will still get me the trophy. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I'm not really a big trophy hunter, but you know, if I get one, I get one. If I don't, I don't. I don't know if I have mentioned this in previous videos. Sometimes I go out of my way to get one.
it's Jake again.
And Mark's here.
So, is there anything style-wise that you had to consider on this game as opposed to doing work in like I don't know, a lot of the other stuff you've done is probably more AAA in scope.
Yeah, I mean, my previous work, I've done a lot more just ridiculous, over-the-top Hollywood-type blood squibs and explosions and laser beams and that kind of jazz. So it was neat to just sort of like stop and think about what the relevant effects to walking around a national park would be.
Right.
Just sort of ambient, natural, secondary motion that you would want in the world without it being obnoxiously overpowered as most things you would do for a AAA action game.
You know, the entire world looks hazy and covered in smoke as the fire gets closer and closer, and obviously we couldn't just fill the entire world with smoke because everyone's graphics card would melt and it would also look like a big pile of garbage. So it seems like you and Paolo, who did a lot of the sort of programming side of this, ended up inventing this thing that the team called the Henry Smoke Barfer, which
I do think Nels actually coined that one, but yeah,
it was probably Nels.
Yeah, it's a very Nels thing to say.
Yeah, Henry at this point in the game is wandering around with basically a pigpen cloud around him. When you see the sparks flying around on day 79 or the sort of lingering haze on days 77 and 78, that's actually just Henry's body emitting those, then leaving them behind in a trail.
I made up a group of emitters that rotate around the watchtower that, you know, if you look real closely, you could probably make it out, but it gives that sort of feeling of it's super intensely smoky outside without having to...
You're in the middle of this big swirling storm, but actually it's just, 6 feet of smoke spinning around the outside of the building.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's when it gets a bit late, when the fire gets bigger. Oh, fuck. Sniffles. That's again that if you haven't watched my previous Let's Play, or if you're doing this first, what I would never recommend to do, even with a movie, that spoilers. This never leads to anywhere. It's just a place to get to the cash box.
Guess what?
What is it?
There's a bunch of empty cans up here.
Same as before?
Yep.
These fucking kids.
How can these girls be so stupid?
Trust me, I never underestimate the stupidity of a drunk teenager. Also, I never underestimate the balls of a drunk young woman, having been one.
Hey, Chris again.
And Sean.
Hey, if you saw the second trailer for Firewatch, there's a moment that takes place here where Delilah points out that there's someone in Henry's tower. Henry points out that he's not there. Camera swings back to the tower, and it's a big dramatic ending. Of course, that moment happens in a completely different part of the map in the actual game and has totally unrelated to this moment that you're now experiencing.
And this was a trailer that we had debuted with Sony at E3, so we knew we had a big audience and that a lot of people were going to see it. It's really, really challenging. I mean, you all know, because everyone goes to movies, what it's like to watch a trailer for a movie that you're excited about and maybe have already decided to see and then be shown too much stuff.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, a movie either has like the ability to or sort of the chutzpah to just show you a scene that hit the cutting room floor or an alternate version of something that gets you feeling the way you should feel and excited for the movie as presented, but doesn't spoil it for you. And I think I'm really happy that we ended up doing that. I think it's good. Like, you're not lying. It's not like we showed you a mechanic that you can't do or anything like that.
I think that we basically had to find a way to accurately convey the type of tension and mood of the game without spoiling it. And so we basically ended up just writing those trailers to fit. I think it worked.
Yeah.
I remember watching the trailer for Ragnarok, and sorry guys, got sniffles. Give me 1 second. Oh, just gonna mute my mic a second, guys. Okay, back. I just had the real bad sniffles just then. Anyway, I remember watching the movie for Ragnarok, and just want to check the audio's still going, actually. Still going? Oh. Still going?
Still going?
Yeah. Okay. So I was watching the I was watching the trailer for Thor Ragnarok, and in the scene he's got lightning coming out of him and his eyes glow up with lightning rage, and that happened in the trailer. Spoilers. In the movie, he loses an eye, and only one of his eye goes all lightning stuff. So they kind of manipulated it to make it work. Another one is like in Avengers: Infinity War. They all run after in the trailer. All the Avengers run after the bad guys, and you can see the Hulk. It's like the Hulk. But in the movie, spoilers again, it's Bruce Banner in the Iron Man Hulkbuster armor. Like, he can't, because by then he can't get the Hulk out. So yeah, I can see how they do it. So they show stuff in the game, but then they might alter it for the actual game, so no spoilers.
Hey, so the wire is definitely down out here. I just found it.
That's actually good to hear. I can send someone out to fix it. Good find.
Yeah, the thing is, it doesn't look like the wind. It looks like it was cut deliberately.
I knew it. The moment you said you found their trash. These idiots are gonna pay. Do they realize this is how people die? I mean, what if something happened to one of my lookouts while this was going on? And God forbid there's an actual fire burning out of control.
What do you want to do?
I want you to go find them.
And then what?
I haven't thought that far ahead. That's not true. Everything that comes to mind is illegal.
Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, I came out here for a breath of fresh air and some adventure. What do you got?
I think I want you to just find them and scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, I'd make a spooky ghost costume, but they stole my sheets.
I don't know. Wait for them to wander off and wreck their camp. Something that would make a teenage girl run home to mommy and daddy.
I'll find them.
Thanks.
But I am gonna need a raise.
Don't hold your breath. I'd start by hiking back towards your tower and just keep an eye out for anything that would lead you to them.
Well, they're big into Red Eagle.
Great. See if you can find the path they took down from there. Maybe they looped back around towards the lake or something. I doubt they're where they were yesterday, but they obviously can't have gone far.
I'm gonna go this way. Oh, my bad. Wrong button. So if I head towards that one's done. Oh, the other 21's this way.
Hi, it's Ben.
Oh, it's Jake. Hey, Ben. So let's talk about Henry's camera. Or I guess, more specifically, the Goodwin family camera. We liked the idea of Brian and his dad bringing one of those little cardboard cameras out with them. And we thought at various points in production, maybe we should cut taking photos because it's really complicated. Maybe you should just see the ones at the end in the credits and be shocked by the Goodwin family.
When I joined the project, I actually was super excited about this feature. I liked the idea of having the camera have a little bit of a real-world feel to it. People seem to like when you showed an animated GIF of it on Twitter. People went crazy remembering these things.
Especially once the idea was proposed that on PC you could print out your photos or you could upload them to the internet and get them developed, which is the thing that we do.
Yeah, the photos that we take are actually secretly 5 megapixel, first generation digital camera quality photos, but just good enough that if you print them out, they look okay.
Yeah, once we went all in on that as a concept, it seemed like having the camera in the game was an essential no-brainer, and then we went all in on making it work like a real camera. We really wanted, you'll have a fixed number of shots you can take. Every time you take a picture, Henry has to wind the camera by hand.
And some players ignore it and don't take pictures. They'll take the 2 that Delilah tells you to, and then the end credits will play and they'll see 2 pictures and maybe have a little feeling of loss that they didn't participate in that feature.
Yeah, or people who get super bummed because they get really into the mystery and take pictures of strange machines and ripped up campsites and a dead Brian Goodwin, and then get to the end credit sequence and go, oh, that was me.
Yeah, they only see the sad things.
I
Those
like
people
that
win.
Depending on how much you use the camera and what you choose to take a picture of, you end up getting a different story at the end of the game. That's the thing that I think worked out the best with the camera and made me the happiest that we actually went all out on building this stupid thing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So, right there was a big spoiler if you've never seen it. So there's a character in this game called Brian Goodwin who dies, and they talk about how people just take pictures of his body.
There's an abandoned pack out here.
And it's not one of the teens?
No, it looks like it was lost a long time ago.
Well, you could always pilfer it for supplies.
Well, I am flush with ropes now. That pack was full of them, in decent condition, too.
That's lucky.
I mean, there's enough rope here that I could just leave them hooked up, I think. Oh, get this. This pack came with one of those cardboard single-use cameras.
With pictures left?
Yeah, he only used 3 or 4.
Neato.
Thank you, Brian Goodwin.
Wait, who?
The bag had the name Brian Goodwin sewn into the top.
Huh. Wow.
Do you know him?
Yeah, I just haven't heard that that name in a few years.
Was he a ranger or something?
Oh, no. He was stationed in Two Forks, your lookout, with his dad Ned 3 summers ago. Great kid.
You can bring children out here?
No. You know, I'm not a stickler for rules. They took off halfway through the summer.
Why? Where did they go?
I don't know. I never really hit it off with old Ned, and, one day they were just gone. Sucks. Anyway, so it goes. Have, fun with that camera. Try not to snap anything that would scar a Photodome employee.
I don't know. I got a lot of hiking to do. Might get bored.
Well, I'm bored as rocks, so I'll keep you company while you find those girls, huh?
I see a really thin plume of smoke.
Yeah, I see it too. A thin plume like this is either a new fire or a campfire.
Campfire. You think it's them?
I reckon so.
It looks like it's to the southwest of me.
That's right. If you hike towards 5 Mile Creek, that should put you in the neighborhood. Keep an eye on that smoke plume. Let me know if it's getting any larger.
Will do.
I think going in this way.
I'm having a hell of a time getting this fucking flapjack off his ass and out to repair that wire.
You want me to go back and see what I can do?
No, I want this guy to have to roll his lazy ass all the way out here.
Flapjack is a choice phrase, by the way.
It really fits the bill in this case.
Huh. I never remembered this in the last time I played through.
Hey, sorry about snapping at you earlier. I thought about it and yeah, I suppose that must have sounded kind of weird when you heard me take that other call. Plus, you're just out here in your own head. Trust me, I know how it is. So, did you break any hearts back in Colorado when you took this job? I myself have chosen to never get attached to anyone who would miss me, but I know I'm a bit of an outlier.
I'm actually married.
But you're here.
She's sick, and I shouldn't be here, but I am.
I'm sorry, Henry. What is it?
We'll get into it.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, you are here, and it's beautiful, and escaping isn't always something bad.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I gotta go do a thing, but I'll have a radio. Okay, call me if you need to.
Oh, hey, this is Ben again, and I'm here with Paolo.
Hello, I'm Paolo. I was the graphics programmer on Firewatch.
So we're here to talk a little bit about the time of day system that the game uses and the skybox stuff. You're in an area where there's a weird device that you can use to step and mess around with those while we talk.
As you can see around you right now, you can walk on the different parts there, and you'll see the weather changing. So immediately when we started working on Firewatch, there were a couple of important points. We had to have a dynamic time of day. So at any point, people could trigger changing the sky, changing the fog, changing each individual component independently. At the same time, this has all sorts of technical implications, but the most important are, okay, how do we represent all this information? Games have many ways of baking data, which means that you sort of gather the lighting information in a scene and then you save it into memory, which is usually a texture or other data structures, to then use it in real time. Now, the problem with that was that we had a lot of different permutations, and we wanted them to change in real time. And also, we didn't know ahead of time how many we were going to have. So we tried to go with a fully dynamic solution. In this case, what dynamic means is just that as you walk around, you'll see the sun moving around, the sky color changing, the fog color changing, and the shadows moving. So all those components are always rendered every frame, and there's no information that is stored anywhere.
So what pieces make up the sky again?
The sky, we tried first an approach of representing sort of a simplified version of the scattering equation and seeing what that would look like. And it was looking good in the game, but it was still very difficult to author. And since Ollie, as the art director, is absolutely talented with colors, at some point we just sat down and we sort of worked together and said, okay, imagine that you could just paint the sky in Photoshop and think about how that would work in the game. It might just magically work. And by doing that, we basically dissected his process of assembling just a painted sky in Photoshop, and we created a shader, which are basically programs that run on the GPU to render things, that suited his exact style. So really, the sky is just a series of gradients that blend into each other with a couple of controls to change curves and attenuations between them. So as you walk around, you'll be able to see how both the sky changes and then the fog adapts to the same color and the sun moves in the right direction. And then there were just a couple of numbers to make sure that like the brightness around the sun would be higher so that it would still sort of represent and give the feeling of what the sky and how the sky behaves.
And this like gave Ollie the ability to test some things very quickly.
Exactly. Having immediate feedback for filling a world that was as big as Firewatch, especially for the sort of limited team size that we had, was absolutely important. Like, we had to have a way so that artists would make something quickly, have an idea of what it would look in the game, and knowing that it was pretty close to what we were going to ship.
Yep.
Nice.
What does she have?
She's got Alzheimer's, like dementia.
Whoa. How old was she?
Is she? She's alive. She's with her family in Melbourne, Australia. She's 43.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What was it like when you guys found out?
Devastating. Especially for her. You can understand.
And for you?
Anyway, everything she worked for was taken away, and that was it. Yeah. I'm sorry to be such a downer.
Don't even. I'm happy to listen. And, you know, we'll try to have some fun this summer. I promise.
I think I'm gonna play for another like 10 minutes, and then I'll think we'll do some more audio tours next Tuesday. We'll do tour and explore also on Tuesday. We'll probably do it in a, I'll do it in a bit.
Hey, Jane.
Hi, Jake. Let's talk about how I almost killed you over this canyon crossing.
Why would anyone have any objection to something in a game as lovely as this area?
So originally, when we first built this whole canyon, you can only walk through the bottom where the creek is.
It looks really lovely when you're walking along the bottom looking up.
And you cannot get close to anything.
You can just imagine what the top of the canyon looks like, and you don't ever have to see it or make it.
Basically, there was nothing up here.
But what if, think about this though, what if you could walk across the top of it and look down, and then we built all of that too?
I just remember the day when you mocked this out in the paper map and just gingerly just showed it to me. And then I looked at it and I was like,
what's that line? What's that line doing going over there?
No way, Jake.
There was no way I was going to win that. I mean, I ended up just building a lot of it myself to
And
try
then, yeah,
and
and I think you were like, okay, how about this other thing? I was like, okay, this other thing is fine, but this is definitely not happening.
I just secretly built a million walls and trees and like did every single thing that I possibly could to make it so
But
you
you
would look
did
at
a
it.
good job though, because like the thing I was really worried about was when you're up there, you end up seeing basically the whole length of the canyon, and then also all the way to basically towards Delilah's tower, which means it's like
Right,
way
all the way
like
through like
yeah.
the Beartooth Point
it would be
area.
like way
Or
too much game to try to draw.
Mule Point. Yeah,
So that
exactly.
was the original sort of, you know,
It was a lot of
fear.
very careful, like, then you go around this turn and then you secretly drop down 3 feet and a bunch of
Yeah.
huge trees come up. I was very happy that we were able to get the canyon crossing in because it's one of the few places where I think you do a total figure 8 over yourself.
It was nice that you managed to problem solve all the sight line areas before I lose my mind.
Thanks for not killing me. I'm alive to be on this commentary track.
You can see how the rendering itself on the top of there is just like green grass, and it's not fleshed out. It kind of goes from fleshed out to not fleshed out. I've seen that in some games. Have I got number 5? Oh good, the tapes go. So if you already listened to the tapes, they removed them, I think.
So, how'd you meet?
Met in a bar.
The birthplace of modern romance.
I walked over and asked her what her major was because I thought she was a student, not a prof.
Smooth.
That's me. I did make the first move, though.
Aw, you were brave.
I was drunk.
I think some more of them get added as the story progresses as well.
I'm back at the shale slide. You know, the one that nearly killed me yesterday.
You ready to give it another shot?
Do I seriously have to?
To get down to 5 Mile Creek? Yeah, afraid so. It's quite a ways downhill from here.
Hi, this is Will.
And this is James again.
We're talking about the rope right now. You should be one nearby.
Yeah, the rope was the very, very first thing I ever did on the entire game. It kind of seeped into being quite an important part of the world layout. We sort of had this whole Metroidvania items thing, and the rope was very much our first, like, you know, that's the rockets that let you get through the door in Metroid. It was such an early flag we planted in the ground for ourselves. So, yeah, there were lots of technical things, weren't there?
All the rope climbs are different. All the rope slides are different. Minorly different, but different enough. So the rope had to be physically simulated. It couldn't be just a pre-canned animation. In order to get that to work, it took a ton of time, lots of iterations. In the end, I had to basically make Henry's hand a gravity well whenever he's on the rope, and then grab the nearest parts of the rope and reskin them to bones that I was just making out of math around Henry's hand and belt. So his like left hand, right hand, and belt are all take over as fake bones, and we reskin the rope every frame to get that to match up perfectly. And if you look real close at the rope, you can see sort of a little bit in front of his hands, the texture on it, the tiling changes and kind of squishes and stretches and squishes and stretches as you go down. And that's because the rope position doesn't naturally always like line up with even spacing when I swap in those fake bones.
Yeah, the rope is one of the best examples if you were to like zoom the camera out and look at what's going on, where like I'm sort of animating by the seat of my pants and like just keeping his hands in the perfect position so that that transition between the physics rope and the skinning version of the rope, you know, doesn't blend too strangely. And it's probably the set of animations in the game that has the most versions made. There's probably like 10 different versions of climbing down. There used to be things where your hands would swap in front of you, you know, picking the rope from one to the other, and obviously that is unbelievably, ridiculously complicated once we had a physical rope. And
nice thing is you can get on it from anywhere and at any time, and it all works. So it was worth it in the end, but quite a bit of effort.
That's interesting. So I'm pretty sure I have to go this way. That's interesting, he only does use one hand. Now he's pointing it out, you can't see it.
What are you going to do when the fire season wraps up? Are you going to go be with her? Just go back to Boulder?
I'll probably just head back to Boulder and, I don't know, I'll figure out what's next. Maybe I'll move. No.
You should go see her. Yes, you love her.
If she remembers me.
I know I don't know anything about your situation, but I think you should go or you'll regret it. She'd love to see you. I think you should go.
All the way to Melbourne, Australia, eh? They said they I think this space is in British Columbia, Canada. I don't know if it is America. I always assume it's America.
Boy, for as dry as it is this summer, there's an area down here that's lush.
Oh, you must be talking about the Aspen Grove down there.
Yeah, I think that's where I am.
Those trees are actually one root organism. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, they share their water as a colony that can live for hundreds of years, even through fire. Can you believe you're actually getting paid to learn all of these amazing things? Also, by what it looks like on this map, you'll be coming up on a stream that should lead you towards where we saw that smoke.
Hi, this is Ben again, and I'm here with Paolo.
Hello.
We're going to talk about stylistic fog and some of the other effects in the game.
For the stylistic fog, we basically use the same approach that we use for the other rendering components and technologies of Firewatch, which was how do we get something that allows Ollie and Jane to really just be directive and paint colors and information like they want into a 3D world. So the only challenge that was there really was, how do we translate sort of a 3D scene that has depth into it, into layers of colors? And immediately we came up with this technique of using a one-dimensional texture that is applied. You can imagine that the image, it's a sort of a rectangular image, goes from left to right. Imagine that left is the color that is closer to the player and right is the color that is in the distance. So in that way, you are basically able to paint color in the depth of the world, and that really gave Jane and Ollie the control they needed to make the Firewatch colors as beautiful as they are.
Yeah, it really matches a lot of Ollie's original like poster and previs work for the game.
Yeah.
And that technique is used a lot in like film. In film, they wouldn't even just use one texture. Sometimes they'll use like hundreds of these strips to layer out an entire scene. But can't do that in a video game because we got to render at a lot of frames per second on bad computers sometimes.
Yeah, and for that, like for the color correction specifically, we used the plugin that was actually available in the Unity Asset Store, and it just worked right off the bat for us. It gave us sort of the real-time tweaking that we needed, and thanks to that, we saved some development time, which was really precious.
Yeah, that was the amplify color if you're really wanting to make your own Firewatch. And in an area like this Aspen Grove, you can see all those effects coming together. You see we have God rays coming from the sun. We have depth of field. If you pick up an object to blur out the world, you can see all the different colors that Ollie's manipulating beyond just like what the sky and light would provide.
Yeah, awesome.
Just need to hop to the loo again. I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Do you know, I thought to myself that with this particular game, with the audio tools, it's I know it's really good. Playing it with the game, it actually does work. I'm gonna withdraw my statement from earlier, how I was like not so sure if it did work. I didn't like it, but I think it does work. But I would recommend keeping subtitles on, so if you have to talk to Delilah while they're doing these tours, have the subs on. Anyway.
Hi, this is Ollie again.
And this is Syndra. I worked as a character artist.
One of the most important things about this game, from our point of view, was to try and get the player to kind of inhabit this character Henry, and a big part of that was character design. We wanted him to be a little different to the regular kind of character you might expect from this kind of game. He's a little older, a little more portly, and we wanted to make sure that, you know, when you look down, you can see your body and you really like feel as if you are playing this character. And to do that, I designed him from the point of view of like trying to make him feel like an older man in terms of the way he moved, looked. We used a lot of, I guess, reference for this, particularly comedian Louis C.K. was one of
Yeah, I had like a mood board that I made that's just essentially just like a collage of Louis C.K. and there was also a fair bit of like Wreck-It Ralph and like the Heavy from Team Fortress, sort of like these heavy, sort of slow moving characters. So actually, when I was modeling, I would actually put like a camera in
Henry's head so I could look down at his body, which is like, I think most of the design characters for third-person games and mobile and stuff like that, I was not used to, designing anything from that perspective. The initial model I sent you guys was pretty much just a bunch of primitives mashed together, like really rough, sort of like, early Dreamcast 3D kind of looking stuff, just to get like a feel for the, just proportions and to give James something to rig, so you could just get something moving and kind of get a pretty good motions, because, you don't need like a fully formed, highly detailed 3D model to just do animation. So actually nailing that stuff early on was really important, I think.
One of the biggest focuses was the hands. Those are the things that the player sees most, and they're the most sort of expressive Henry. So we wanted to make sure that the shapes were really simple and bold and evocative in order to allow James, our animator, kind of give him the best material to work with and portray the character through those motions.
Yeah, they're practically the main character.
I like the fact that it's a first-person perspective for this particular game. Because of the art style, I think it works better as a first-person than a third-person perspective. I think that's what they were saying there as well. So, yeah. Ugh.
It's a really nice waterfall down here. Given those girls love a skinny dipping, I bet they're nearby.
I think after a while you get used to the character model, but I think the character model is a bit... It's good, like, looking down and stuff, like, you can clearly see, but seeing, like, that, I was a bit... I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. Not a huge fan. The art itself and the scenery and everything is beautiful, but seeing the full fleshed out character model, I think it doesn't really work, and I think I've just gone...
I see a campsite, and it looks like they've got a fire.
Is it them?
It seems like it. I swear, they must have dragged 4 cases of beer out here.
Track them down, and don't let them see you.
What a job this is.
Yeah, I like the character model, I like looking down, but seeing all of it, I'm like, in the face, I'm like,
Hey, it's Sean.
And Chris. Hey, Sean.
So we are at the teens camp that has been destroyed, ransacked, rummaged, torn apart.
Yeah.
And I know you had some confusion over this, Chris.
I did. I didn't realize I had confusion. So I was the person who did all the gameplay, wiring, logic, hookup stuff for this scene. And the entire time I was doing it, I, for some reason, was under the mistaken impression that it was a bear that destroyed this camp. I, for some reason, had convinced myself that, oh, Goodwin was sort of involved in framing Henry for teen stuff, but also, just separately and coincidentally, a bear just like blasted through here and tore up the tent. And I think I didn't realize until the game was almost done that that was not the case.
And I think that's one of the challenges of making a game like this, and where we're telling a story that doesn't explicitly call out why everything is happening. I think, me personally, and I think you agree with me, Chris, because we talk about movies and stories a lot, I really find it obnoxious when a story goes out of its way to explain everything and handhold you through the plot of the story. Ultimately, you, the player, may have thought it doesn't really matter to you whether it was Goodwin or a bear, because it's doing all the things on an emotional level that it needs to do as a scene, which is stress you out, realize there's danger, and create the fact that the teens feel like it was you. Like, you just know it's not you, so that's
Right.
what works here.
Or
As
you may have correctly intuited what happened, and that's also good.
Yeah, Goodwin sets out to cause you distress and frame you for acts of violence such as this.
By inflaming the already existing tension between you and these teens.
Exactly right. Because he just wants you out of here. You entered that cave on your first day, and he knows what's in the bottom of it, and
He doesn't want you to.
Yeah, trips a trigger for him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
So it's Goodwin who does
tent
it.
looks like it's been through the shredder.
What could have done that? Like a bear or I don't know. It sounds crazy, but even a bull elk if it's off its rocker.
Whatever did it, did not hold back.
You've got that camera, right? It might be a good idea to get a few snaps, just in case.
You know, maybe I should take one of their sleeping bags as payback.
At this stage, take whatever you want.
Oh, they're gone for sure.
How can you tell?
Well, the girls left someone, me, I guess, a note.
What's it say?
It's just, it's an apology for all the trouble.
Well, good. They should be sorry. Is everything okay? Can we put this to bed?
We're good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was probably just a bear down here. Who knows, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's the wilderness. It's wild. It says so right on the name. I mean,
Well, you are a dork, huh?
hey, look who's talking. All right, well, maybe we can actually just get to work from now on. I'd really like to start enjoying a quiet summer.
Yeah, me too.
There we go. Oh, done day 1 and 2. The only thing is the raccoon. Oh, if I can remember where it is. Oh. If I look at the map, I might be able to find it.
Hey, Henry?
Yeah.
What do you look like?
Why are you asking?
Because I'm horribly superficial.
I could be Tom Cruise's good-looking twin brother.
Oh, that's too bad. I read in People he's like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all.
Okay, well, that gives me a good start. Now let's see. In my scope, I can only tell you're a white guy wearing shorts.
It's hot. And maybe, by the way, I'm not white. It's not very, PC or whatever they say.
Oh my god, you are the whitest man. Wow. I don't need a spotting scope for that. And if not shorts, then what do you normally like to wear?
I don't know. I like to look nice, usually. Well, I try now, I guess.
Had a bit of a schlubby period, did we?
Yeah, a good 25, 30 years, yeah.
But, now you'll put on a clean shirt?
Yeah, well, I have one that I got for Christmas, actually. Just, it's navy with white buttons, but I like it. I don't wear it that much, though.
Well, it sounds just perfect. Now tell me about your face. I'm looking at you across the bar. What do I see?
A pretty thick beard.
Oh, have you always had a beard?
For a while, yeah.
All right, perfect. I want to know about your eyes.
Get out of here.
I'm drawing you. I need to know.
Your what?
Is that okay? Don't answer. I'm gonna do it regardless.
Fine.
Your eyes, tell me.
They're steely. A cold, hard stare.
Like a Siberian husky.
Sure.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Henry.
You get what you need?
Absolutely.
So according to my map, number 3 has a couple more going for it. So yeah. That's the camp thing. 3 and 4 and 14 apparently again. I think the raccoon. Where was the raccoon? I think it's head towards the head towards Cache 303. So head towards the Delilah station, I think.
Hey, this is Will.
And this is James.
We actually spent a lot of time trying to get the physicality of Firewatch nailed down, and one of the big parts of that was getting objects in your hand, like feeling like you could pick things up and touch them. Turned out to be quite a bit of work, though, nothing that was like reinventing the wheel. It was just a matter of getting very specific offsets and very specific grips for every single item in the game, nearly.
We had tons of concepts, and we were looking at all sorts of games, and like Far Cry 2 and things for like, where's the best example of grabbing something in the world and it isn't just floating in front of you in sort of Half-Life 2 style. We ended up just basically popping it into your hand over one frame, but making sure that happens at the exact moment that your hand's swiping over it, and it's worked surprisingly well. There were sorts of strange things as well, though, like these giant hands, and then like you'd put a beer can in his hand and suddenly be like, oh right, yeah, it looks like a little miniature minibar, airplane can of Coke. And so there are all kinds of strange little things that cropped up, but actually having the objects in your hand and you could turn them around from any angle, it ended up making it worth doing all these super detailed props. Like Ollie would make the fireworks and do just really funny, cool designs that you could only actually see if you turned them around and looked at them really closely, and I think it paid off basically.
And those are just like a couple of poses that we blend between. Those aren't even very complicated, the lookovers, right?
Yeah, not at all really. There's basically one for books and there's one for everything else, and it's just pretty much 2 points, like fully to the left and fully to the right, with just like a sort of intelligent blend between those two things. So there were so many items in the game we couldn't have authored individual examines for them all. But even that ended up being incredibly hard to tune to get just right. Again, lots of iteration.
So now I picked it up. It's in.
Hey, this is Will.
And this is James.
We actually spent a lot of time trying to get the physicality of Firewatch. Hey, this is Will.
And this is James.
We actually spent a lot of time trying to get the physicality of Firewatch nailed down, and one of the big parts of that was getting objects in your hand, like feeling like you could pick things up and touch them. Turned out to be quite a bit of work, though. Nothing that was like
get down this tower. Play that one.
It was just a matter of getting very specific offsets and very specific grips for every single item in the game, nearly.
We had tons of concepts, and we were looking at all sorts of games, and like.
It's Ollie again.
Oh, it's Jake.
I realized sort of halfway through development that the player has a kind of quite a sort of nebulous idea of what Henry looks like, and that would be a fun thing to play with by getting the player to describe themselves to Delilah, and then having those answers feed into a drawing that you would then find in Delilah's tower at the end of the game.
I think actually even one step back behind that, you had done a sketch really early on of the inside of Delilah's tower that just had a drawing of Henry's face and said Henry and pointed at his tower, and I think that was that was the inspiration.
Yeah,
maybe Delilah. I thought that moment already was really cool, that you'd get to Delilah's tower and see that she'd drawn what she thinks you look like and an arrow pointing at your lookout tower. But in that sketch, it was Henry's face, and we're like, how would... I think you said, this doesn't make any sense, because she would not draw an on-model perfect Henry.
Right.
And then Sean took the Delilah draws Henry idea and ran with it and made it the conversation for day 3. Because I think day 3's initial design was, you nail up some boards. Nels and I had to actually build the end result from all the sketches you did of the different faces, shirts, and mustaches.
Originally I was just going to draw individual drawings for each.
It ended up being well over 1,000, maybe thousands and thousands of variants that would have had to be drawn.
We needed to come up with a smart
we had to do something smarter, so we broke it all down into pieces, and that piece of paper that you find in Delilah's tower is actually, I think, being put together from pieces in real time for each player. There's no texture that has any one of those things.
And it allowed us to do a somewhat sort of shonky Delilah drawing, which I think is quite funny and unexpected, given that.
I love that. I love that
like
Delilah is bad at drawing. It's a game. It's a game full of everyone who can draw because you drew all of it. So it's good that Delilah just draws. Just
draws bad drawing.
So these do, you can get them eventually, and they do add on some of them.
I got that window all patched up. So what should I do now? What's next?
What's next? What do you think is next?
Well, you've been the one giving me tasks for 2 days straight.
What's next is you sit in that room until September 1st and call me at the first sign of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you let me know when you're mentally prepared for that task, and I'll give it to you.
Right, I'm gonna see if I can find that raccoon before we do that mental task. See, now all the lights are red, so it's saying that we've done them. Need to head towards, I think it's head towards Delilah's tower. So if that's the lake, I need to head this way. Just to find that abandoned cave. What's the penalties? They're like at 14.
Okay, I think I am ready to tackle my long-term commitment of keeping this national forest safe from total destruction.
I am glad to hear you've really thought this through.
Of course.
We've issued you a comfy chair to sit in and everything.
You know, it's not really that comfy. I mean, it's wooden and there's no padding. I think I actually got a splinter in my thigh this morning.
Aww. Well, regardless, take a seat. The forest depends on you.
Ah, let's go straight into day 9. Oh, screw that raccoon then. If I come across it again, I'll find it. I think we'll wait for that to load in. I think we'll do this again next week, Tuesday. We'll try and do some tour and explore as well on the same day.
Hello, Henry. Having a nice afternoon?
I might never leave.
Well, I called with some bad news. 2 young women, Chelsea Stevens and Lily McLean, were reported missing. They've got parents out in California who haven't heard from them in a week. They were supposed to meet an aunt down in Cody. If they're the girls from last week, then you're probably the last person to have seen them.
I didn't do anything to them.
What about their camp?
That wasn't me. You know that.
Don't get defensive. Look, it's not going to be an issue. I mean, if they turn up dead, then maybe. Should I just not say anything and save us the trouble?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, Henry.
Hi, it's Ben.
And it's James again.
And this is day 9, a story-only day. There's not a lot to do.
Yeah, primarily you just eat a sandwich, but
there was at one point gonna be elks. In the sort of framing of the beautiful sunset across the canyon, there was going to be a very majestic herd of elks. And in fact, this is why we made the elk rig, as far as I recall, because now the only other places in the game where you see it are, there's a dead one, which is optional and apparently quite hard to find.
Yeah, most people miss that one.
Yeah, and there's one in the intro, but we made them so they could majestically stalk through the canyon in a herd. And, well, actually, I made an elk walk cycle and nibbling on grass animations, but the problem was, we did all this weird, like, you know, sort of conjecture about, like, how we could implement this, and it's uneven ground, and there's winding passages through the cavern. We're like, well, maybe we could do some kind of elk navigation, or we could have them walk along a spline, and then it very quickly was clear that that was very silly.
What's interesting, though, is this is still one of the most taken photographs in Firewatch as it is. Like, people still think it's very pretty.
Yeah, it ended up being less is more.
Yeah.
Everyone, you want to slap elks everywhere, but sometimes you've got to exercise restraint.
Well, game 2, nothing but elks, probably,
Nothing
right?
but elks.
Yeah.
I agree completely, yeah.
What do you want?
Hey, you big dumb idiot.
Babe, it's late.
I know it is. You sound tired.
I am.
Are you having a nice time?
Sure. Are you? Everything good there? Jules?
What? Oh, sorry, Henry. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, that's good.
Well, I'll let you get back to sleep.
Hi, Larissa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I think you probably know this, but in the original script, your character was not Australian. She was from Chicago. And then you were cast, and I changed the entire script.
Hooray for me. I didn't actually know that she was from Chicago, but I did know that she was originally American. But then when we discussed it, you know, you had that thought of, well, why couldn't she be from anywhere as, you know, the world becomes more multicultural? And therefore, since I am Australian natively anyway, to just, you know, capitalize on that.
It was like a beautiful discovery. It was so serendipitous because it would have been really easy, I feel like, even though you and Sissy sound so different, like you have different tones of voice. I think it would have been easy had you had an American accent for people to a little bit be confused. It's a really startling scene, this scene that we're in here, where the radio chirps and it's his wife and not his boss.
Her, yeah.
Yeah, and we
I've
wanted
actually, I was going to say, I've watched a bit of gameplay with people in that moment playing the game and their commentary on it, and it's always really fun to have that, what?
Yeah.
Who is that? Who is that? Is that, you know, it's kind of like having that moment of going so unfamiliar to kind of jut in with this different sound when everyone's expecting it to be Sissy, so.
Yeah, and I really don't believe he would have gotten that with such a potent, like, pop had had it not been the accent. And to the point where I think had you had an American accent, I would have asked you to do one. I wouldn't have had the idea had I not been presented with you as an actor.
To do that.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me for that to be the case until it was like, well, she's the best woman for the job, and oh, she also happens to be Australian. Oh, wait, why isn't Julia Australian? Wait, that's so much better across the board. Why wasn't she Australian to begin with? I am bad at my job.
I am.
Good. I'm glad. Look, so a couple of months before I took this job, I was with this guy, Javier. He's incredible, caring, sexy as hell. He was a driller down in Casper. We dated for almost 5 years. I was working with the Wyoming Outdoor Leadership School, and I was obsessed with it. I wanted to be an instructor so badly. And I was sure I was going to marry Javier as soon as I could be bothered. Walls was also a good excuse to get out of town, drink whiskey in the mountains, cut loose. Then, Javier's brother got killed working in Gillette, and for some reason, I didn't come home. Javier said it was fine. He'd go to the funeral, take care of his mom, stuff like that. It'd be easier solo. When he came back, he left me. I came out here, I lied, and told my sister he fucked our neighbor. So, I lied to you. I came out here with a broken heart just like you. I figured you've told me so much about you, so, you know, there's something about me. We both fucked up.
Hey, Delilah?
What do you got? You found him?
No, not yet. Why would there be a fence out here?
Because sometimes hikers go ass over tea kettle when on a trail.
So the Forest Service would put up a big chain link fence?
A chain link fence?
Yeah. It looks like it surrounds a huge area.
Huh. That's weird.
What do you think they're keeping in? What do they not want to have get out of there?
Oh, geez, so many things.
Should I just stop you now?
Maybe loads of hedgehogs.
Okay.
Thousands even. Full percentage points of the global hedgehog population.
Uh-huh.
The New Zealand government is up in arms. Where are all the hedgehogs? Well, folks are hiding them all in Wyoming. That's where they are. Who would do that and why? Haha. That is the real mystery.
Really glad I kept you in the loop. Thanks for all of the high-quality information.
Okay, okay. I'll ask what's up if I talk to someone in the next few days who I think might know.
Right, I think we'll stop there. Looks like some of these tours, you have to grab them before, like, it moves on. So, yeah. Right, okay, well, I'm not, because these audio tours weren't quick as I thought they would be. I thought, oh, I could finish off Firewatch, we could do the audio tours. So, yeah. Well, since I started on Tuesday, because I wanted to do a new project on a Friday, since we have finished the game itself, and we're just doing the game again with the audio description, I think we'll continue doing this on a Tuesday, and then we'll do Tour and Explore, because like Tour and Explore is exploring the map on GTA, and like looking at all of it, and how the like what's in the map and what's in the game, and then doing this is like hearing about what's in the game and what's in the map and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I think we'll end it there. And new project on Friday, new game, should I say? And we'll be changing the name to break up one game broadcast series from the other one. So Why Not 2 will no longer be it. Well, for Firewatch I'll still call it Why Not 2, but for the new one I will call it something else. Just the fact it will be finishing off Firewatch. So yeah, it's just something. I just like changing my channel now and again, little tweaks now and again, just to improve on it. Anyway, well, thank you so much for watching this unexpected journey. What is audio tours replaying Firewatch again on Why Not 2. Right, well, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and remember to do the notification bell so you get notified on broadcasts and videos. I'd like to say thank you so much for watching, and we're going to do this again next week, because oh my god, like it's fun, like listening to, you know, the audios and replaying the game and seeing different things you can say. So, you know, multiple options. Right, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.